friends, this is Rick the Fat Man, and this is your seat at the table. And we are looking at another Star Wars role-playing adventure from West End Games. This is The Abduction. The Shashay Space Singer has been kidnapped. Can the rebels rescue him and preserve the fragile alliance between the rebellion and the Shashay people? Alright, this is The Abduction of Crying Dong Singer by Chuck Truitt. An albino Wookiee paces, nervously taking a few puffs from a long clay pipe. A Repulsor-lift limousine pulls up beside him. Two lightly armed guards exit the limo. Seconds later, a slightly built avian creature steps out. The Wookiee lets the pipe fall to the ground and shatter. The scarred man in the shadows speaks into it calmly. "Okay, boys, let's do it." Crying Dong Singer, a famous Shashay Space Singer, has been kidnapped by criminals eager to discredit the Rebel Alliance. Can the Rebel heroes learn who's truly behind the plot to blame the Alliance and why? Can the Rebels rescue the hapless Shashay before he is killed? Let's see. I can't say if I ran this one or not. But hey, you know, I still got the receipt in here. This one was purchased from the Game Shop, which is no longer in business. And I paid $10 plus tax. So it was $10.50. Yep, $10 right there. And this was 1992. This would have been still Ivor's, the owner of Ivor's Dungeon, but he had changed. He'd moved to a different location and changed the name of his store's name. So, and then later he moves to third. He moves like 4 or 5 times during the late 80s, early 90s. Introduction. It's an adventure background. Adventure synopsis. Said here, Crying Dong and his entourage are captured by Ural Seville. After the interrogation on Narjarka, Seville takes Crying Dong Singer to the Laim system, where he records false holo transmissions blaming the abduction on the rebellion. Seville then takes Crying Dong Singer to Narg, where he's left in the custody of Barag Farul. So here's Crying Dong Singer right there in performance. Rebels travel to Narjarka, following their only clue, the homing transponder and signal, hoping to rescue Crying Dong Singer. But the rebel agent on Narjarka, they find the agent, but not Crying Dong Singer. They also find information that leads to the Laim system. Where the rebels leave Narjarka, they receive the first of false transmissions, where Ural Seville, claiming to be the leader of the rebellion, makes his ransom demands. The rebels are also attacked by Imperial stormtroopers who have been sent to retrieve the rebel agent. Rebels then travel to the Laim system, where they receive a second transmission, which officially blames the abduction on the Rebel Alliance. In the Laim system, the rebels find information that leads them to the Trans-Galmeg Industries Incorporated, or TGM, on Narg. Once the rebels arrive on Narg, they must find and rescue Crying Dong Singer. However, Moff Owen learns the rebels' plan and sends a battalion of stormtroopers to prevent their escape so that he can claim responsibility for Crying Dong Singer's rescue. Final climactic battle, blah, blah, blah. Main characters. Episode 1, Narjarka. Right? The summary is, after a quick briefing and the events leading up to the capture of Crying Dong Singer, the rebels travel to Narjarka and attempt to find a rebel agent. After several incidents, the local life forms, the rebels discover the agent, who explains the rebels what happened to Crying Dong Singer. Chapter includes with the rebels' discovery of the forces of the Empire have entered the system. So the mission, rebel heroes recently assigned to duty aboard the Worthless Fool, a converted space tug, makes regular supply runs to the base on Burrow's Dawn. And as the adventure begins, they have completed a run to that base, looking forward to a good meal and a soft bed, when a young girl delivers a package to the ship. The girl puts the package down on the communications console and says, "You're cleared to take off in 10 minutes. Good luck." She turns and leaves. The package contains a data plaque and a directional transceiver. The rebels put the data plaque in the playback unit. Communications console are greeted with a hologram, blah, blah. And I'm not going to read all that. So we got the abduction adventure script. Information on Narjarka, terrestrial planet, breathable, glacier forest, starport none, population none. Says Narjarka has been the subject of low-intensity survey by the Imperial Survey Corps. It's anonymous in that it sustains light, although it's too far from the sun to collect any of the required rich with energy. Life forms are concentrated in a narrow but vested band of subtropical rainforest. Shashay. Crying Dawn Singer, the most famous of the Shashay Singers. It says here, the Shashay are descended from avians with thick, colorful plumage and vegetable wings. They evolved into intelligent species and came to rely less on flight. Now their wings are useful only for gliding. Their wing feathers are retractable from elbow to wrist. Shashay are known for their grace and elegant movement and their fiery tempers. Most Shashay are content to remain in their home world, living among their nest clans. However, a few have taken to the starlights as traders seeking adventure and excitement. This fellow is a famous singer. We got beginning of the adventure, starting at Narjaka. This is here. The Shashay, of course, is Crying Dawn Singer. He's a popular entertainer throughout the sector. His vocal abilities are remarkable. Unfortunately, the vocal cords of the Shashay are such that they are unable to speak basic. A droid named 6TL is Crying Dawn Singer's translator droid. Says here, Fat Human is best her and acts as Crying Dawn Singer's road agent and personal manager. 2 humans are Crying Dawn Singer's personal guards. They not look like much, but they know what they're doing. The Ithorian, the Gurgaran, the Drove are all backup singers. The Wookiee is Caddy Clam. He is Crying Dawn Singer's stage manager. First view of the complex, landing the Imperial complex, stepping into the forest. And rainforest in Narjaka is replete with life. Trees, vines, flowers are all full of lush. Air is full of insects. Gnats to beetles as large as Jawas. That's encouraging. Then we got some various critters and stuff and plants that can potentially be a obstacle to our players. Here is the Worthless Fool and its space tug and its blueprints. Upper deck, lower deck, maintenance crawlways, basic stats. Imperial Garrison, Biological Research Center. Getting into the building. Imperial Complex. Apparently you need to get into the complex for some reason. Reception area, bad news. Says here, bad news. My talk calls you over the comm link. The subspace radio on the ship picked up a message from the sector's subspace transmission network. Someone took over their signal. It's pretty bad news, he says. The kidnappers have identified themselves. They say they're part of the rebellion. Site of Biological Center, finding the rebel agent, the Northeast Triangle, first transmission. Basically, the transmission is, hey, we got the singer. You want him? You're gonna have to pay for him. And we're part of the Rebel Alliance because we need the money, which is all a sham. It's a hoax. Damn it, a hoax. Repairing the droid of power. The droid awakens. Apparently, you gotta get the droid working. This point, shortly after Rebels have found the droid generators in the building are triggered by Star Destroyer's impending doom, which now orbiting the planet. The Rebels won't know the cause of the change, but will notice every light in the room comes on. Their air processors begin to work. The change should be startling. Boom! The quiet of the building is broken. Blah, 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 blah. Contact with the Worthless Fool is now impossible. The droid awakens. The droid vocabulary squawks for a moment. The droid says very politely, I am blah, blah, blah. Valet translator droid, may I take your coat? Do you care for a drink? The droid pauses. No, wait. The droid squawks again. Don't do that, please, master. You must run. The droid pauses again, looks at each of you. Sounds of a gun battle issue from it, completely from screams of several alien tongues. Its human voice says, don't kill them yet. They got a lot of singing to do before they die. The droid stops and lowers his head. My master has been kidnapped, it says sadly. I remember very little. I was inactivated quite soon after the abduction. Security cameras identify the rebel agent. Cut to episode 2, leaving Narjaka. Moff Owen and the impending doom. Impending doom is orbiting Narjaka. Have been informed that Contmore interrogators 6TL is the rebel agent, while Fallen has come to retrieve it. When aboard the Imperial Doom is expecting to find rebels or anyone else. The worthless fool leaving the center, the stormtroopers, a random Narjukan creature that gets in the way, regaining the worthless fool. It's always a nice big thing to have come out of the woods at you while you're dealing with stormtroopers. Imperial transport, TIE fighter attack, escape, ending 1, abject failure, ending 2, a brief break, ending 3, success. So there's 3 possible endings here depending on how your situation plays out. Episode 3, Laim. Let's stick that there for a minute. Excuse me, I blow my nose. Summary for Chapter 3, or Episode 3. As soon as they return to real space, the rebels intercept another subspace transmission, blaming the rebellion for kidnapping. Using the modification made to the worthless fool, the rebels board the broadcast ship responsible for the transmissions, find the data plaque containing the fabricated transmissions. They find a classified memo leading them to the planet Narg, where crying Singer is being held. Arriving at the Laim system. Laim system has never been occupied. The center of the pale star, which only projects a sickly blue light, darkness of space. There are no planets. The rebels easily locate the subspace relay station, as well as right here sector broadcast ship. And the relay space station, the broadcast ship. This looks like a modified Imperial shuttle, what that looks like. The Raytar Sector Subspace Broadcast Network is a high advisory council conceived of Raytar Sector Subspace blah blah attempt to replicate a small part of the old Republic holonet, where the holonet used thousands of non-mass transceivers to relay signals through hyperspace. The local network uses 64 subspace relay stations and a handful of broadcast ships. Fleeing techs approaching the broadcast ship, boarding the ship, spacesuits, spacewalk. If the rebels have to do a spacewalk, they have 2 options across to the broadcast ship. They can try to jump their way over in zero gravity, or they can use magnet hooks and starline cable to bridge the distance. Getting into the broadcast ship, the ambush. The degree of resistance the rebels face depends on how badly the ship is. If the rebels are persuasive enough, fighting is certainly certain death, or at least a moderate command or con roll, they will be able to convince the crew to surrender. So what's going on? The Imperials do not know what's going on. They were dispatched to Narg and ordered by Moff Nell Owen's special assistant, Nak Forul, to take this crew from the Transgal Mag Industries headquarters on Narg to the Laim SRS. The rebels capture and question the captain. You will remember reading the inadvertently transmitted message from Nak Forul to Moff Owen. Searching the ship, the bridge, the data plaque, the broadcast station. Cut to, after the rebels return to the worthless fool, they cut to episode 4. Narg. Rebels summary. The rebels arrive on the city of Grig on Narg. After suffering through the TGM bureaucracy, rebels can begin gathering information on Bragg Farul, Crying Singer. There are rumors of an alien prisoner of the Empire is being held in the TGM Administration Center, despite the fact the corporation detention block is in Togos. Right? Yeah. Dermatoglyphic identification, Narg's starport Grig. Narg is the planet and this data and information. Starport concourse. Concourse is dusty and dimly lit. No one other buildings in sight in front of you. Wide glass doors lead to the streets. Vehicles of widely varying sizes and types speed past. To your right is a snack bar advertising native cuisine and TGM protein fruit concentrate refresher. But the layer of black dust on the counter shows that customers are rare. Next to the snack bar is a sector travel guild. A departure board flashes slowly. Lists no departures. To your left, you see lights and in life in a booth marked NARG Cultural Information Center, a small store, the NARG Starport Souvenir Shop. NARG Cultural Information Center. Get some questions answered, whatever. Souvenir shop. On the street. The street. The Greg Police. Apparently the police won't bother you unless you're openly carrying weapons, and then they're going to harass you. They're going to try to either confiscate your weapons or arrest you. Droid motivation techniques. Free access grill. Some various vehicles and transports there for you to look at. At midway, the starport and administration center, rebels will come across a fairly unusual business, at least for this planet. The free access grill is like any number of other bars and restaurants that the rebels have walked past on the crowd street, except this bar has a large handwritten sign in the window stating, "We serve aliens, only place on the planet serving non-humans." Rebels enter the grill, read aloud. Inside is brightly lit, also fairly clean, cleaner than anything else they've seen so far. A few of the customers are human, most are non-human. Sound system is playing an old Twilight folk song. Bartender standing behind the bar, washing glasses. He looks human. Welcome, I'm Tiki Man. What can I do for you? Big City. Spearmaster, patrons of the free access grill, couple of Yahoo NPCs and other stuff to run across. And possibly get assistance from or information from. Episode 5, Into the Birdcage. Summary. The rebels arrive in the entrance to the administrative center. The rebels have to avoid or defeat the corporate guards in order to reach Reg Fool's office. Once the rebels reach Fool, uses Krang Singer as a hostage and threatens to kill him. Rebels must stop Fool without allowing him to kill Krang Singer. After the rebels rescue Crying Dawn Singer from Farul, they realize they are trapped in Farul's office and must find a way to escape. Administration Center, Hospital and Training School. Administration Center inside the lobby, other entrances, the training school. Finding Farul, asking the droid. Administration for blueprint. Floor plans, asking a worker, corporate guards. If the rebels are wearing their weapons when they encounter the corporate guards, or if the guards are responding to an employee's distress call, all 5 of the guards will draw their blasters. If the rebels appear to be unarmed, the guards will stand straight and try to look frightening as possible while drawing their weapons. One guard will speak in a deep voice, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here?" TG corporate security, basic stats for the guards. Panic in the lobby, going up, further up the stairways, further up the hallway. I suppose the alternate would be to rewire the cable lift, bypass the emergency cutoff system. This take about 5 minutes prior to a very difficult security role, etc., etc. Captured, level 27. Underneath this level, the arms will go off once again. Loudspeakers announcing all units report to 27th level. If Peresta is with the rebels, the arms won't go off, but Peresta will receive a comlink message. Mr. Peresta, my phone, has announced he's coming to retrieve Crying Dong Singer. Oops. Alright, oops. Chaos breaks loose. Level 28. Brag for rule. Who are you? Get out. Crying Dong Singer. First time the rebels will see Crying Dawn Singer in person. As they saw in the hole, he's covered in white plumage, except for a splash of red on his chest and his red crest, relatively short, large hooked beak, and very round red eyes. His toes end in sharp polished claws. If 6TL is still with the rebels, it will run to the Crying Dawn Singer side. Crying Dawn Singer will continue to screech and thrash until he is released. It will take a very easy security roll to unlock the perimeter lock securing the cage. If available, 6TL will explain the situation to Crying Dawn Singer. He will be prepared to follow the rebels. If the droid isn't available, the rebels will have to explain themselves as best they can, as Crying Dawn Singer does understand basic. He's like a Wookiee. He can understand it, just can't speak it. Trapped in Farrell's office. Cut to the escape. Episode 6. The escape. Summary. The roof. Getting off the roof. Through the air ducts, if you want to go that route. The street. Stealing an air ambulance. Yeah, that's always nice. Calling a My Talk for help. Can't steal anything. Let's just steal that ambulance over there. Nobody's going to need it. Fitting off the corporate guards, boarding the worthless fool, the air ambulance. Stats for the air ambulance. All aboard. Let's make our escape. In orbit. The wrap-up. Cut away to the bridge of the impending doom. Interior bridge of the impending doom. Executive Captain Martok is receiving instructions from Mop 1 on the planet's surface. Owen is communicating through a small holograph. His rages over the recent turn of events is clearly evident. Take their ship. I cannot allow them to escape with the Shashay. Do not harm the creature. I don't care if a dozen pilots die, but I want the Singer captured unharmed. Yes, Your Excellency. The holo of Owen disappears. Martok turns to the suburban, send out the Yellow Squadron, cut to the TIE Fighters, which we end up with a TIE Fighter battle, assuming that your characters win, and then they go to space. They leap the jump, Jump to space, adding some various templates for the NPCs you're going to deal with. There you go. I don't think I've ever ran this particular adventure myself. It's pretty solid and straightforward. I've read through this a couple times, and it's pretty decent, right? As a adventures go, there's nothing really extra in here. There's no extra bells and whistles or things, ships, technology, other than the planets that you encounter and the creatures and some of the NPCs, the alien races. As always, there are so many alien races in Star Wars that you just always going to run across something new, but nothing addition rules-wise or anything like that, or source book materials. So, till next time, this is the Abduction, and game on.